Welcome to Gail's Kitchen. Today I'm coming to you from a kitchen in the Outer Banks of North Carolina. I'm here for the long Labor Day weekend. The community where I'm staying is having a Labor Day party tomorrow, and I'm going to make a very quick and easy ice cream cake for the end of the summer season. As always, the ingredients for this recipe are listed in the information box below. First thing you want to do with your Springform pan is line the bottom with either parchment paper or some wax paper. And what I find works best is to tape this paper on here. Lay the bottom in after you've covered it. Lay your bottom into your Springform pan and then tighten it up. So you're gonna add 3 cups of crushed Oreos. I crushed my Oreos in a baggie with a rolling pin. If you're using a food processor, just pulse it a few times because you want to leave some large crumb. Now we add our 1 cup of mini chocolate chips, 1/2 cup of finely chopped toasted pecans, and now we pour in our melted butter, 2/3 of a cup. You're gonna love this recipe. You need no special equipment whatsoever. So let's just toss this until everything's coated with that melted butter. What we're gonna do is layer this cookie mixture on the bottom, and then a layer of chocolate ice cream, another layer of the cookie mixture, and a layer of vanilla, and then a final topping of our cookie crumb. So I find that it's about 1 1/4 cups of the cookie crumbs on the bottom. Now the first layer is the critical layer. If it turns out you can't cover the bottom completely with that 1 1/4 cups, add another little bit. The little baggie works. You have to improvise when you're not working in your own kitchen. So quite often on my channel, I try to show options, and that was an option. I actually put my Springform pan in the freezer for about 5 minutes. I get the best results if I put that in the freezer. I brought my ice cream from the freezer to the refrigerator about an hour ago, and it's nice and soft. So we want 2 cups of chocolate ice cream. The back of the spoon works just fine here. We're gonna stick this in the freezer for 1 hour, and we'll be back to add the next layer of cookie crumbs, vanilla ice cream, and another layer of cookie crumbs. While our chocolate layer's in the freezer for an hour, I'm going to go ahead and mix up a cookie crumb crust for the very top. And I'm using a different kind of cookie. So for the very top, I'm using a fudge brownie chocolate chip cookie. I need 8 chocolate cookies this size. So I just crush these with the rolling pin. That's about 1.5 cups of crumbs. And you can use any kind of chocolate cookie you like. You can use chocolate wafers. You can use Oreo cookies again for the top if you want, just like we did for the bottom, adding 4 tablespoons of melted butter. So now let this sit for a few minutes. We're going to add our 2nd layer of vanilla ice cream, and then we're topping with a wonderful layer of fudge brownie cookies. Our first layer of our ice cream cake has been in the freezer for 1 hour. Now we're going to sprinkle over half of the remaining cookie crust with the chocolate chips. And now we're going to add a layer of 2 cups of vanilla ice cream. That's the wonderful thing about making this cake. It's not only delicious, you get to eat some of the ice cream while you're making it. And 2 cups of vanilla that's been softened. And mash this in. We've put the remainder of our Oreo chocolate chip and pecan topping on the top. And you see, that's just not enough to cover the top. So I like to add a nice thick layer of chocolate to the top. That's where our fudge brownie topping comes in. Pour that on. And I think it just looks really pretty with a very defined dark chocolate layer on the bottom as well as on the very top. After our cake is fully frozen, we will finish this with some whipped topping and more pecans. It's going to be very delicious and very indulgent. You want to go around this outside edge with a butter knife. Unhinge your Springform pan. pull the paper up from the bottom. Slide this off. If your ice cream cake wants to separate, push it back together. Because it's ice cream, it will refreeze. I've actually let the ice cream cake sit in the freezer for about 3 hours. I wanted it to be completely solid. Now I'm going to remove it from the parchment paper with a big spatula. And I'm moving it onto some aluminum foil. There. Now what we're gonna do is cover this in whipped topping. So I like to transfer it to the foil because you see I can pick this up and handle it pretty easily. Make sure I cover the sides well. One last step. We're going to sprinkle our coarsely chopped toasted pecans on the top. And if you don't want nuts on your ice cream cake, put some crushed cookies on here. In the freezer, our ice cream cake goes again.